Luis first spotted the man as he rode into the village square. A tall man astride a thin, overladen horse, grey coat streaked with the sweat of a long ride. A soldier, that much was clear. Sword at his hip, pistols in their holsters, breastplate protecting chest. He wore no helmet, instead a large floppy hat which cast his face in deep shadow. A bright red feather took all of Luis's attention, as the man's features, masked by the wide brim and a thick tangle of black beard, were difficult to work out. Except for the eyes, burning with an intensity Luis had seldom seen before. Dust covered the soldier like an extra coat, his poor steed stumbling forward to the drinking trough. They had obviously ridden for many miles in the searing, unrelenting heat. The horse dipped its head and drank. Luis, with only 2 more bundles left to deliver, sat down on the fountain steps next to the animal and studied the man keenly. The soldier dismounted, stretched and sighed, his joints cracking. He pulled a bandana from around his neck, dipped it into the water beside his still-drinking horse, and washed himself, running the soaked piece of cloth over his face before pressing the material into his mouth. He dabbed his lips, stopped, and noticed Luis as if for the first time, his eyes narrowing. Luis stiffened, a tiny thrill of fear running through him. The man's look seemed dark and terrible, as did the rest of him. A soldier, quick to judge, violence never far from the blade of his sword. Luis quickly averted his face and went to move away.
"Boy, wait there."
Luis froze, the gruff voice sharp, used to giving orders and no doubt expecting compliance. The man stepped closer, his air of supreme confidence unsettling.
"Where is everyone?"
Luis blinked. It is only early, sir. Most people will still be in their beds."
"Ah, peasants."
He looked around as if he were trying to find something that would prove the lie of Luis's words. Nothing else moved in the square. They were quite alone. The soldier exhaled and slumped down on the stone bench next to the fountain, coat and trousers creaking as he bent limbs. He motioned to Luis to join him. For a moment he hesitated.
"I don't bite, boy."
Luis forced a smile and sat down. The tangy mix of stale sweat and aged, cracked leather invaded his nostrils, and something else. Something he knew, had smelled many times before. The acrid stench of decay.
"What's your name, boy?"
"Luisa. Luis Sanchez." The man cocked an eyebrow as he scanned Luis from head to foot. Luis felt his stare and grew uncomfortable, edging away from him slightly.
"You wear your hair long, like a girl,"
said the man, turning away to rifle inside a little pouch at his hip.
"You must be a page or a scholar, perhaps."
Luis studied the man, filling a white bone pipe with tobacco taken from the pouch. Once before he had seen this. The mayor often smoked a pipe, the only man in the village to do so. Tobacco was rare and expensive, brought in from the Americas. Luis knew where that was. He had pored over maps at his school and would often spend hours daydreaming of adventures in far-off lands, of voyages across vast open seas, of mountains and valleys and—
"Are you listening to me?"
Luis snapped his head around, blinking rapidly. The man's eyes burned with anger and the atmosphere became charged with danger. Luis held up his hand, alarmed. "I'm sorry, sir. I was thinking and meant no disrespect." He tried to smile, but the man's expression did not change.
"Thinking about what?"
Swallowing hard, Luis pointed towards the pipe. "Tobacco. Our mayor, he has a pipe. Rare things. Expensive."
"Expensive."
The man's voice drifted away, and he sat back, closed his eyes, and sucked on his pipe. His mouth made tiny popping sounds, and smoke trailed white into the air. The relief was palpable. The moment of danger passed. Nevertheless, Luis remained upright, anxious not to allow his imaginings to return and so receive another sharp rebuke.